Yeah, the old waders are a bit slippery. Oh. What a magnificent canyon here. Try and make our way down, put the waders on so we can get in the creek and see what we can find. But already this is just an absolute treasure. Look at that. Important process for me is just taking it all in. You're not really thinking about the photography, you're just enjoying the place. Then the shot will find you. Wow. Just to finish up, we decided to get in close to the foam and really emphasize. The closer you are, the more dramatic those streaks will be. It just looks incredible. I love this composition here. We've been here over an hour. This is like the most basic composition, but it just works so well. It's not being overcomplicated. Balance either side with the rocks. A big triangular linear perspective leading the eye through the frame, and then the canyon back there. Woo!
Now, as you guys are probably aware, I don't use a tripod, and even if you did, getting one up to this location, but also being able to stand deep in the water that's moving quite heavily, it's going to cause you issues on the tripod or not. So here's a little hack that you can try. Handheld, essentially, is doing a blend of shutter speeds to get the water flow that you're after. So this image here, you can see it's shot at 1/4 of a second, and it's sharp. And that's great, perfect. The problem is in this case, and normally 1/4 is fine, like especially on a waterfall, but in this case, the bubbles really needed a bit of a longer shutter speed. So what I did, if you look at the next exposure, now we've got the streaked foam and bubbles. That's a 1 second exposure. The problem is the image is soft, right? Not so much in the middle there, but once we get to the edges, you can see that the 1 second handheld just wasn't going to work with that water pushing along. So what I purposely did was shot the 2 frames with the intention of just blending in that slow shutter water. So what I'm going to do, I have done a quick edit on these as well. I don't want to go into the full edit in this video. You can see that on the rest of my channel. That's before, that's after. So a bit of lightning, a bit of work in the color grading, etc. What we're going to do now is I'm going to select both of the images and then just open them up. So we're in ACR here. This will open it up into the main part of Photoshop now. Here we go. I'll make that full size, and what I'll do is, this is our sharp image, and then we have over here is the slower shutter. I might just simply drag this one up. So I've clicked, I'm dragging up to that one, and then I come down and let go. I'm dropping that on top there, and you'll see there's not too much movement. If we turn the layers on and off, not too much movement between the two. What I'm going to do now, this is our sharp file. We know that below is the slower shutter, and all I'm interested in is all the water in here. So I'll simply create a mask down the bottom. I've clicked that mask button, this rectangle of the circle. We've got our mask, which is that white box, and all I need now is a black brush to paint on that. So with the mask, think of it like a window. The curtains are shut. We want to open the curtains to look at that water there. So to open curtains, we need the opposite of white, which is black. So I'm going to push B for brush, and then over here's my color, and I can change that. So we want black. Now I'll make the brush a little bit larger, and all I do now is click and drag, and now that's opening the curtain and revealing the layer behind. Run that along. The only section I need to be careful is near the rocks, because remember, the rocks on the 1 second exposure are going to be soft. It's completely up to me now what I want to reveal and what I choose to leave as the faster shutter speed. So it's just a matter of running it along. I'm clicking continuously, and I'm doing that so if I make a mistake, I can just do Command Z to undo, and it's only going back not too far. If you hold down for a minute straight and then make a mistake, then you're going to undo everything if you need to go back. As I mask up here, I don't really like the water that we're getting up there, so this is where I'm going to undo Command Z, and I prefer that water. Maybe a little bit slower in there, potentially. No, I'm not worried about that either. I'm going to leave that. So I think primarily it's just this foreground water with the nice streaking. Go a little bit larger on the brush. This is the beautiful thing about slow shutter water merging with slow shutter water. It's all soft. There's no hard lines anyway, so you can't really go wrong. It's seamless. If I hold down the option button here and click, and that would be Alt if you're on a PC, I'll just fill in that area completely black. Might as well get rid of that part. I don't think that was anything in particular. So if I hold Shift now, we can turn the mask on and off, before, after. To finish this up, I'll remove these water droplets, do a little bit more work with the tones, darkening and brightening, maybe a little bit of color grading, but that gives you an idea of how you can do an exposure blend, and that will really help you if you want to experiment being handheld like I am, or you're just in a precarious position where the tripod isn't really going to work, like what was the situation here.
The speed of the water and the proximity to it will determine the shutter speed that you use. I just like to keep mixing it up, and then you find that right speed. One thing to keep in mind is if you go too low, then you lose the midground. You lose the linear perspective. So if you find that right height, you create that wide to narrow transition which just flows the eye through. If you go too high, then you get too much of that midground in. The part that excites us most is it's just the element of the unknown, that curiosity. It's just so fun to see things unexpected. The photo is really just an attempt at, you know, capturing that feeling you had at that time. There's a waterfall up around the corner. We gotta check it out. Oh, can we get back up? Pretty steep. Wow, look at the green. Woo-hoo-hoo. From this left-hand side, you can look right up the gorge. I think it's a better image, more depth, instead of just hitting that waterfall there. Been standing in the freezing water for too long. Yep. Keep exploring for a bit. Look at this up here. Oh. Well, we probably reached the end of the line, but right here, look at that. It's all diffused, gentle atmosphere. Oh man. Paradise. Time to get out of here. Core temperature is dropped. Need to get some food into us. Woo. Got all the right makings of a beautiful sunset. Got the cloud there, and then an opening on the horizon for the light. Let's see what we can do. I've got the wide angle. We're going to face towards the sun. By doing that, it really pulls the eye through the image. We've got these beautiful sea stacks. The key with seascapes is getting the right shutter speed, getting the right flow and movement on the water. Often I like to shoot as the water's receding, and that will help guide the eye and pull it through the frame. Oh, that light. Here we go. Look out! Here we go!